Back for part 2. So here we go. Create an object, method 2, called object constructor. Now this is going to be sort of, when we get into it, this will be the way that we construct objects, although it'll seem a little stupid right now for how easy it was before. This is it. Var object name equals new object. That's it. That constructs an object. So for instance, and then we attach new key value pairs to this object using the notation that we just saw in the last example. We saw locker equals whatever, or object name dot first name equals whatever, and we can attach new information to that existing object. Well, what does this line do? Well, what it does is it constructs an object. And in fact, as we'll see in the example down here, because I think that's coming up next, there, draft record, draft is Ferd's buddy, remember, is new object. So if I just do that, and I'm going to make, maybe I'll comment out all this stuff, and I'm going to make var draft record equals new, and remember, this is a name we picked. We can call it whatever you want. New object, like that, bam. And if I console log that out, draft record, notice that right now, once it's created, it's got no key values. It's got no first name, no last name, no nothing. And so this should give me an interesting message. It might give me an error, or it might just say empty or object and then just say that's it. Let's have a look. Refresh. So I printed off draft record, and it's just an object. It's got nothing in it, empty. So I can attach some stuff, though, using the techniques that we saw before. I could attach some stuff if I wanted. Dot first name equals draft, and just practice using the square notation too. Remember, if I want to add a key value using square bracket notation, it has to be in quotes. So last name equals whatever, doesn't matter. And now if I do the same thing, this creates a new object. It attaches a couple key value pairs and then print it off. This should be a little more interesting. Refresh. And there it is. First name is Dref and last name is ddref, whatever. Notice, does this data here have anything to do with this data over here? No, these are two totally different objects. Even though they have some of the same key names, they have nothing to do with each other. They were created differently. What's neat about this, and that's back to the note here, by the way, because we wanted to have those two things in the note. There we go, in the note. Recall that we can use the JavaScript keyword in to loop through values in an array and an object. So for var key in draft record, so this we called I in the last example, but the word in, it means it's going to take this, whatever this is, and it was an array yesterday or last class, and now it's an object, and it'll actually go through each of the things and print them out. So let's try that. I'm just going to copy that in to my JavaScript. Paste that in there. Remember, the blue words are keywords in JavaScript, and now it's going to print that out. Save. Refresh. And in this way, we can loop through an object in the same way that we could loop through an array. Okay, that's pretty handy. So I can print out all the stuff that we know about an object using the in keyword, the in keyword. Notice that this isn't in quotes. because the word key is not the word key is not an attribute in this record. Notice that if I wanted to just see the key names, I could print out what key is, and it would give me the key names. This gives me the values. This will give me the key name. So let's just see that in action. So there are the values, and next to them are the keys that we actually, that we had. These are the key names, and there's the value, key name. And we can actually print those out as well using the for loop and the keyword in. So that's pretty cool. And I think in today's homework, you're just practicing this. So it might occur to you, question, isn't an object just an array? So for example, couldn't I have accomplished the same thing using this array where the first thing is the first name, the second thing is the last name, and we've got an array of marks, and we've got FIRD record is now an array instead of an object. Can't we skip this object thing? Well, they're not really the same. Not really. Not only is an object more clear in what the data represents because of this dot thing or the square bracket notation, where the FIRD record 0 would give us FIRD, but we don't know what 0 is unless we know what when it says dot first name, I'm pretty sure that's the first name of whatever this object is. And soon we'll be able to add functions to our objects. So for instance, we might have FIRD record dot calculate average, or add a course, or whatever we might want to do to a FIRD record. Further, we will discuss our objects in a more general way. Shouldn't all students have records and objects with the same general structure? So what I'm talking about here is we kind of talked about ref record and FIRD record as they were students, right? And this is all stuff that we wanted to know about FIRD, and that was a FIRD object. Well, doesn't it make sense that couldn't we just say they're students, and each student has to have a first name and a last name and a student, and then FIRD would be a student, not just a general object. Okay, and I know that might be a little bit complicated, but it's coming, and it's not that complicated. For today, what we want to get used to is the syntax of defining objects, printing stuff out to the screen, and changing the values, and maybe doing some basic calculations on values of objects. So that's what today's homework's all about. All right, remember to save your note, folks, and then good luck with the homework.